church and school community, it's my pleasure to welcome you to a brand new school year, a different one than we've ever done before, but to welcome our school community, parents, students, and staff back on campus. It's been 5 months since we've been able to gather as a school community. We're very excited about having everyone back together on campus. And as you'll hear throughout our open house program today, all of these safeguards that our government, our diocese, and the medical community have suggested have been put in place. We believe we have a clean and safe environment to be able to begin class once again. We're excited to be able to see all of our students again. We're beginning a brand new, different type of year. Let's begin it with prayer. Please join with me. In the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Almighty Father, we begin to walk in a new area, in a new time. We know you walk with us. We know your hand guides us. Many times we feel fear and confusion, but we know you're still there. Give us the grace, the strength, and the faith to always look to you patiently. Lord, bless the year ahead of us, our students, our parents, our staff. Make this a joyful year of learning and growth. We ask this in your blessed name. Amen. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And welcome. Welcome home. Welcome to a new year.
Welcome everyone to the 2020-21 school year here at Sacred Heart. Before we get started, I would like to recognize somebody who is no longer with us at Sacred Heart. After 34 years of service to us and to our families and our kids, Miss Carol Boland decided to retire this year. We wish her the very, very best, and we really do appreciate all the years of work and sacrifices she's made to provide a Catholic education for our Sacred Heart family. With that being said, there's a couple of changes that we made in the faculty. Number one is Kim Fresnetta moved from 2nd grade. She'll now be teaching the 4th grade, 4th through 6th grade social studies and religion. And we've got Miss Heather Zinser coming back from pre-K. She's going to be teaching 6th grade, 4th through 6th grade literacy. So we welcome those changes for those two. And then we have some brand new ones that we've added to our staff this year, or faculty this year. We hired Lexi Andrews to teach one of our 1st grade classes. We hired Donna Pruitt to teach the other 1st grade class. Tara Williams is going to be the new 2nd grade teacher. Gayla Fairchild will be the 3rd grade teacher. Then we added a spot for our students with our special needs students, and we hired Miss Kim Limley, who just retired after 29 years of teaching special ed in the public schools. She's going to give us guidance as far as making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing with kids who have special needs. Now, I'd also like to make a very special welcome to Father Joe Friend, who's going to become the associate pastor here at Sacred Heart, and he's already dived in head first, or really took the plunge, and he's going to help us a whole lot here at the school, and we really look forward to that relationship growing as the years go. So with the introductions being completed, I'd like to welcome everybody to Sacred Heart this year, especially all the new students, all the new kindergarten students, or if you're even a transfer student. We really appreciate the fact that you've chosen to join our Sacred Heart family, and really appreciate the fact that you're here. To everybody that's been here, wonderful welcome. I'm so excited to have everyone back here at Sacred Heart. We look for good things to happen, even though these are some tough times that we're going through, and we're going to work as hard as we can to make sure that happens. Our teachers have been working extremely hard to prepare for this odd year. They've worked diligently since March, or they've been working diligently since last March to get prepared for this school year. We certainly appreciate the patience and understanding of all the parents as we navigate through this difficult time and uncertain time, in all honesty. There's going to be hiccups in the road. Just please be patient with us and be aware that although we've worked really hard and we've done a lot of research and we're doing exactly what we think is best, that there will be changes as we go through the year. And our most important job is to deliver a Catholic education to the students of Sacred Heart. I want to do my best to assure you that while your kids are at Sacred Heart, they're going to be as safe as we can possibly make them. Before we got started with all this planning process, we developed a COVID task force. And that task force is made up of people who are in the medical profession, people who have experience working in the community with the COVID cases, and of course we have school board members, faculty members, and part of the administration team there to make up that task force. Nothing has been just pulled out of the air or anything like that. Every decision that we have made has been because of research. On some of the research stuff, it's very important on the cleanliness of the school. We work hard to disinfect. Mr. Tim Jackson has done a lot of research and found what we feel like are the best practices for making our kids as safe as we can make them here at Sacred Heart. I know a lot of schools or a lot of people are concerned about the number of chemicals that they use to clean and how they interact with each other, and we've done our research on that. We've gone from when I first started here 5 years ago from about 7 different chemicals that we use, we're down to 3, and they work extremely well with each other. They work, some of them do a lot of the same things, but all 3 of them work very well together. We've established cleaning processes that I think are going to help us this year make sure the safety of the students. Mr. Jackson comes in sometimes at 3 o'clock, sometimes at 4 o'clock in the morning, every morning, and fogs the whole building, and that takes care of all the surfaces. And then throughout the day, either Mr. Jackson or Scott Kilgore, our custodian, will be cleaning those surfaces as the day goes on, as well as our restrooms, our high-touch areas. They will be wiped down several times during the day. When I say several times, I'll give you an example. The doorknobs will be wiped down in between each class at the high school, and it'll be wiped down at least 4 times a day at the elementary school. So we're doing our very best to make sure that our school is as safe as it can be. We're going to follow, and I think we even exceed the recommendations of the Arkansas Department of Health in the cleaning process. So we look forward to for any visitors to come up here, as long as we're following the rules. That if y'all need to see what we're doing, we are working extremely hard on that. I've heard a lot of people talk, and then I saw some of the reviews from the survey, or results from the survey that we gave out last spring and in the summer about wearing masks. Number one, I want to assure you that nobody is going to come to this school and wear a mask for 6 hours straight. That's not feasible. It's not. We're not going to do that. And the main reason is we don't really have to. But the experts, the scientists, do say that wearing masks is the best way to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And there's a lot of different philosophies on the age group of the people that need to be wearing masks. We're following the recommendations of the CDC on that, and we're just going to go ahead and have all of our students wear masks when they cannot be socially distanced, which is 6 feet or further apart. But with that being said, a lot of our students, when they're in the classroom, will be 6 feet apart, and at that time they don't have to wear masks. Our teachers have been meeting for the last couple of weeks, and we've discussed on several occasions we're going to have regular scheduled mask breaks in every class. And I really don't want students having to sit for 45 minutes or an hour with a mask on their face. So if the students feel uncomfortable, raise their hand, just make a mention that we need a mask break, and the teacher will work with you as well as they can. Now the teachers will be required to wear a face mask while they're teaching unless they can be 12 feet away from the students. So the teachers will have to wear a mask, but like I said, they will have mask breaks periodically throughout the day. Okay, now I want to talk about the logistics for on-site students, okay? We'll start with the elementary. I think that's the easiest place to start. What I'd like for you to do this year is going to be different than it's been in past years, but I'm trying to make it as close as I can make it to normal. But I do need to keep traffic off of Main Street, off of Highway 64. I really would appreciate it if everyone would use the go down St. Vincent Street. It's 2 streets past the rectory, okay? Or I guess it's 1 street past the rectory, 2 driveways past the rectory. If you pull in there and go up by where the preschool is, please keep in mind or be mindful that the preschool students will be, or preschool parents will be letting their kids off at the preschool. Please allow them to have the inside or the right-hand lane, and elementary school traffic, please use the left-hand lane and be very, very careful and drive slow through there in the mornings. Once you go through there, come up through the porte-cochere just the way you did on pickup last year, but we're not stopping under the porch. We're going to go on up to the front door of the elementary school, and there someone will be there to take your child's temperature while they're in the vehicle. We want to get the temperature taken before they exit the vehicle. If it's before 7:45, they'll go on into the building, and Miss Paula will be in the building supervising in there until 7:45. And then when 7:45 bell rings, all students will go to their classrooms then, and then the students that come in after that will also go straight to their classroom. For high school, it's going to be a little different than in the past. You're going to park, or you're going to pull up by the rails like we've always done, but somebody will be there to take your temperature, or your child's temperature, before they get out of the vehicle. But they don't get to go in the building, okay? Everybody has to have a mask on when they get out of the vehicle too. I want to remind everyone of that. But what they'll do, if we've got good weather, if it's pretty outside, we'll sit up at the plaza on the benches before we go in, and then when the 7:45 bell rings, we'll go on into class. If it's raining, if it's inclement weather in any way, we'll make other arrangements either in the cafeteria or the gymnasium. Okay, now let's talk about what things are going to look like in the classrooms. We've worked hard. We've put tape measures to everything. We're trying to get as many of our classrooms as possible where we can get the students 6 feet apart. But we also understand that it can't be achieved all throughout the day. So when that can't be achieved, then when we can't social distance, we will wear masks. We will wear masks anytime we transition from one class to another. So if a student is in the hallway, pretty much for any reason, or teacher, we need to have a mask on. When students are going to the restroom, they also need to wear masks. Lunch is going to be different than it's been. It's going to be a little bit of an inconvenience for all of us, not just one particular group, but it's going to be for the whole bunch right now. So let's talk about elementary first on lunch. Elementary students will have their lunch taken to their classroom. They will eat lunch in the room and then go to recess. High school students will go through the line in the cafeteria while social distancing. They will then take their lunch back to their classroom to eat, the classroom that they had just come from. There will be some exceptions to that, because we have an athletic period before lunch. but all those details, the kids will know what they're supposed to do by the first day. Just because of the sheer numbers of some of our classes, 3 classes will eat in the cafeteria, and they will be socially distanced in there, so they will not have to wear a mask. Right now, it looks like the 2nd grade, the 4th grade, and the 9th grade will be eating lunch in the cafeteria, and that will be the only ones that won't eat in their class. I've had a lot of questions about recess and PE. Elementary students will go to recess each day. Once the students are on the playground, they will not have to wear a mask. They have to wear a mask in the line to get there, but once they're out there, they can take their mask off. The teachers will put them in, or the students or teachers will put them in a baggie, their own baggie, to keep from contamination, and the teachers will return their baggie to them before they go back inside. Classes who have PE will go as usual. They'll have masks on their way. Coaches will provide activities where social distancing can be achieved. The students will not have to wear masks during PE. And then let's talk about dismissal. That was kind of our school day. Now that we're at the end of the day, and due to social distancing policies, we're changing the way we pick up the elementary students for sure. Instead of going under the porch at church the way we've done in the past, the teachers will bring the students out to the sidewalk in front of the school. The parents should park on the east side, east parking lot, the one closest to church. Find you a parking spot there, go ahead and exit your vehicle, and please don't go farther than the oval. Don't come up past the oval, and you can stand there and wait for your kids. When your students see you, and more importantly, when the teacher sees you, they'll release your student to go get you. Please take them by the hand, take them back to the car, and then we can be off. The road between the oval and the school will be blocked off. There will be no traffic there. Since we're not using buses this year, we won't have bus traffic to worry with. So make sure nobody drives inside between the oval and the school. And please, nobody park in between the oval and the school anytime during the day, whether it be before school, in the middle of school, or after school. Please do not park in between the oval and the school. We will continue to provide after school care. It's going to look a little different than it's looked in the past. At 3:15, after school students will go to the church. Mr. Taylor will lead them down there. They'll remain in church until 3:45. That's when people officially sign in to after school care. And they'll remain in church until or if the weather's nice, after 3:45, they'll go outside, play on the playground, and then when the numbers get to where we can social distance in Mr. Taylor's room, he'll bring them back inside to work on homework and the other things that they do. Okay, that was kind of the school day here at school. Now let's talk about the virtual or AMI students, or the way things are going to go. One of the results of the survey that we sent out to the parents this summer, the comment that I heard the most was the inconsistency of how the different platforms were being used. So we've decided that we're going to use one platform this year, and that's going to be Google Classroom. From kindergarten through 12th grade, we will do Google Classroom. There'll be other things that you do, but the platform where the work and things are going to be submitted will be through Google Classroom. Instead of, that's going to be different for the elementary because we didn't have Google Classroom for them last year, but most of our high schools, teachers and students understand Google Classroom. Parents, don't be worried a whole lot. We're going to try to come up with a video to show parents just the Google Classroom one-on-one, so you can navigate or help your student navigate their way through that process. Elementary students and parents will have an option between joining in live or later in the day They can view a recorded video of the teacher teaching the lesson. The videos will be posted by 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, in the vast majority of my cases, that 4 o'clock will be right. But I'll give you an example, like Mr. Taylor's class, he doesn't come in from after school care until well after 4, so there may be days that his classes might not be posted by 4, but please be patient with us. If the student needs to wait to view the recorded lesson, or want you to make sure that you understand is that any classwork that's done, work that's actually done in the class and the kids turned in, is due for that AMI student by midnight that day. Now, if it's regular homework where the teacher assigned homework to the whole class, then the AMI person, it's not due till the following day, just like the people that attended class, it's due at the same time. High school students, and this is really high school and elementary as well. You're not at school, but you're in school. So even though you're at home, you're in school. So keep that in mind. If you get up, and I want you to get up in the morning, I want you to clean yourself up, eat breakfast, put on a school uniform, make sure that your hair is cut, you're groomed properly, and you sit at a desk, at a kitchen table, at a kitchen bar, somewhere that is conducive to learning. What I don't want to see is people laying in bed, laying on the floor, laying around. I want you sitting up in a chair or at a desk and paying attention to what's going on in that class. Any class, where this is back to high school, any classwork is due when the teacher asks for it during the class period. So if they're doing a class assignment, you can submit it through Google Classroom just the same way that they can submit it here at school. So it will be due at that time. Homework will be due when it's due for the rest of the class. AMI students are expected to follow all the rules set forth by the handbook, as well as any classroom rules set forth by the teacher. The dress code must be followed even though you're not at school. Remember, you are in school. Uniforms must be worn during the school day. All right. Talk a little bit about the policies and procedures for COVID-19 here at Sacred Heart. I know a lot of people have been asking about that. We have released all of our policies and procedures in regards to COVID-19. That task force has done a tremendous job and definitely did their due diligence in making the decisions that we're going to follow, making the decisions for the policies that we're going to follow. Just remember one thing, I guess. When you're following the policies set forth, you don't have a lot of, there's not a lot of wiggle room. So I'll give you some examples. If a student or staff member tests positive for COVID-19, I call the State Department of Health. They tell me what to do. Then I call the diocese. They tell me what to do. So there's very little that's going to be my decision. The decision that I have to make is to call the hotline, call the diocese, and we'll begin they will begin contact tracing and advise us regarding what needs to be done as far as we need to clean, need to close the school, whatever the consequences are, and who needs to be quarantined, who does not need to be quarantined. Those decisions will not be made by us at Sacred Heart. It will be made by people at the Department of Health. All of the information regarding the procedures have already been released. So please go to our website and read through those carefully. If you have any questions whatsoever about them, you can either call me here at the office, or I've got a questions box on our website that you can write questions in, and I will check those and answer them as quickly as possible. Okay, now, probably one of the most important things I can say today is we implore the parents of Sacred Heart, if your child does not feel well, please keep them home. Other than wearing masks, that is definitely the best way to stop the spread of COVID-19. If they don't feel well, or if they have any known symptoms of COVID-19, I know a lot of you are like me. Usually my kids get up, say they got a sore throat, they got this, or they have that, and I say, suck it up, go to school. We can't do that this year. So please keep that in mind, that if your kids feel bad, keep them at home. They can always, if they feel well enough, they can participate through Google Classroom. If they don't feel well enough and they have to be set out for 48 hours, they can do the work before they come back. They can do the work after they come back. So please just make sure that you help us with that. If your kids do not feel well, please keep them at home. If your student or staff member, either one, if they do have symptoms of COVID-19 that's not related to a chronic illness, I can give you a lot of examples of that. Like we've got people with asthma, we've got people with allergies, we got so if they're having symptoms that's not related to asthma or allergies or things like that, please take them to see the doctor and get guidance from medical professionals. Remember that if you have the symptoms, that you have to be free of those symptoms without symptom altering medications for 48 hours. You have to be free of those symptoms for 48 hours before you can come back. So please follow that rule very closely. And remember, your students shouldn't get behind. They should be fine as far as the schoolwork goes, because if they're in that 48-hour quarantine, then they can still follow along on Google Classroom, and they're not falling behind at all. Okay, now that's kind of the end of the COVID stuff. I want to talk about, everybody knows what RenWeb is, I think, or most of us do anyway. RenWeb is sold out, and it's now called FACTS, F-A-C-T-S, SIS, and the parent portion has changed some. You can still access your students' grades, lesson plans, and assignments in RenWeb 1 on a computer, but it's the app on your smartphone that has changed. We'll be letting you know what is going on with that as we get the word. And some things that I've heard, or some people have asked me, and been going around town, I guess, a little bit, that Sacred Heart is in financial trouble. Sacred Heart School is not in financial trouble. That I've heard said that we don't have enough money to survive this crisis. That's very far from being true. We've had a couple of good years throughout the past 5 or 6 years. We've had a couple of good years, and the help of federal funds that we've got from the CARES Act, the school is in good shape financially. But what we have to do now is look to the future, because we're good for now. But since we're not able to have all the events that we normally have to raise money, and those federal funds won't be available anymore to a private school, it's extremely important that the events we do have must be successful. So please help us with those. Whenever that we can get the okay to start having our events, we certainly will. Some upcoming events that we're going to have is Oktoberfest and our Super Raffle. Oktoberfest is going to look a little different. The committee is working hard to work out the kinks of that. You'll get word for how that's going to look as we go. To receive information regarding the school, communication is huge, and it's got to be both ways. It has to be between the school and the parents. It also has to be between the parents and the school. But one thing that I want to ask everybody to do is sign up for our weekly email blast. We put a lot of information in there, and we do send out RenWeb messages, and we do things like that as well. But please get on that email blast, and that way you can read it. It comes out every Sunday morning. We have people that work very diligently to make sure that gets out on time on Sunday morning. So sign up for that if you're not already signed up. That's a wealth of information for what's going on at Sacred Heart. Okay, I'm gonna leave you with one final thought. And this is just my opinion. If it means we can get back to school on a normal basis, I'm willing to wear a mask. I'm willing to social distance. I'm willing to stay at home if I'm sick, or whatever the scientists tell me to do to reach an end to this. I'm willing to do it to ensure that our kids get a good quality Catholic education. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to having a great 2020-2021 school year.